Hi guys, it's Kieran from Andy Biggs Water Sports here. Today I'm going to be doing a rundown and tech talk of the KT Super K2. So this is their latest board. It's just the new iteration of the Super K that they released last year. I've got the Pro Carbon and the Standard Carbon. I'm just going to go through the differences between the two constructions and just do an overall rundown and tech talk of everything. So the Pro Carbon. This is their full carbon sandwich construction. So it is the full core layup, which gives you more strength, stiffness, and it is a much lighter weight. You're just going to feel much more connected to the foil. It is then an extra lightweight EPS core wrapped in a multi-layered full carbon high density exoskeleton. Now, don't ask me what any of that means. It means that it is going to feel stiffer, it is stronger, it's lighter weight, and you're going to feel it on the water. I've tried the 70 litre in the standard and in the Pro Carbon. You can tell the difference in the weight. Going around those manoeuvres, it just feels so light underneath your feet. Getting up onto the foil, you can feel how stiff and reactive it makes your foil. You really just can feel how connected you are. So yeah, that is the Pro Carbon. Then the Standard Carbon, that is just the single density core with their new carbon layup. So yeah, it is just a slightly more basic. Oh, I say slightly more basic. It's still a carbon layup, but it is just not as extreme as they've gone with the Pro Carbon. But yeah, so just as a comparison, the 80 litre on both constructions, on the Standard Carbon, it's coming in at 5.2 kilos. But then on the Pro Carbon, you have got a board that is only 4.4 kilos. Now that is absolutely insane. I mean, you sort of pick up this board, it just doesn't weigh anything. It is incredible. So yeah, that is the two constructions. Let's just go on to some more technical details about the board now. So starting off with the bottom of the board, you have now got a flatter, more streamlined shape, which is just going to give minimal drag. It's going to have a smoother lift off, and you're just going to have a cleaner feel on the touchdowns. So going on from that, the new streamlined performance hull has removed the trademark Ginsu step on the back. So it's just going to deliver a frictionless and direct feel, which is just going to make those takeoffs, those touchdowns, that much smoother. And it's now compatible with the foil drive and all other foil assists. You can see the rocker, that it's been changed slightly. So this has just been precisely designed by Kane, Keith, and Adam Lewis. So yeah, all the angles are just fine-tuned just to those minute measurements, and that's just for a faster takeoff, smoother recoveries. Moving on to the back side of the board now. First thing you'll notice, super long tracks. They've now got 14-inch reinforced foil tracks. Perfect. You've got so much movement for where you can have the foil on there. Absolutely brilliant. We're loving it. You'll love it. It just gives you so much variation for where you can put your foil. So different riders, different weights. It's perfect. Then on the tail of the board, it has now got a thin tail added with the beveled shape. So it's just going to give you a clean water release. And then you can just see it is squared off at the end. And that just provides extra rail-to-rail stability and control. So you're getting, that super nice glide and takeoff from the bevels. And then just with it being squared off, it's just adding that stability back where the bevel takes away from it. So the next thing to note is the outline of this board. So they've got the pulled in mid-length outline. So it's just adding better acceleration, better glide, better balance for when you are just on the water, and just better agility as well. So just all round, the shaping that they've done there is brilliant. The rails on the board, you have got just the almond nose. So if I just flick that round, like that, there we go. So what you've got the almond nose rails, and they transition to a boxy midsection, then it just tapers into the aero tail, like we were just showing you. So this just improves the water flow, reduces drag, and boosts the rebound on touchdowns. So you can sort of see that everything that we're going through, it's all going towards the same thing. It is just better touchdowns, easier takeoff, and just a smoother ride all round. Then on the nose, it's got a much fuller shape on the nose, and this just hides the volume of the board. So you can get away, everyone's saying you get away with these smaller sizes. And what I love as well, the board feels a bit smaller, They look a bit smaller, that volume is still there. So yeah, it's just been flattened down compared to the previous model on the bottom, so on the underside. And what this is going to do, so you can see on the hole there, as I was saying a bit earlier as well, they've really flattened off that hole. That is just adding to the stability as well, so it's not going to feel as tippy. And along with the squared tail, that flattened down front is just going to add back the stability where the bevels are taking it away. I think the last technical thing that I really want to cover is the deck. This year they have made the deck padding 50% lighter, but it has got more grip. So that is where they're saving a good chunk of weight. So that's all the technical stuff done. Now for my own personal opinion on it. I've used the 70 litre Pro Carbon and the 95 litre Carbon. I'll start with the 95. So I think the main thing you can tell versus the 92 on the original Super K, the release off the water is a lot better. So that shaping along the bottom, that double concave, that slightly fatter nose, but they've got that volume in the front on the top. So I was talking to Keith yesterday on a Zoom call, and you've definitely got, so you've got that bubble on the top there. It's not a bubble, but that's how they described it. That is giving you extra volume in the nose while taking the volume off the bottom. So you've still got all that volume there, just with a quicker release. You notice it. So I got this 90, this is the 90, but I got the 95 Carbon up in 6 knots. I'll try add a clip of that if I can actually find it. I've got too much footage at the moment. And then, yeah, taking out the cutout, they didn't want to do it, but for foil drive, it is just needed. You don't notice it too much. I think if you had one of these boards with the cutout, you would maybe notice the difference, but going from one to the other, they've redefined the shape so much versus the original Super K that you're not going to notice it because they've made so many more improvements. But yeah, 5 to 6 knots up onto the foil with the 960 Atlas and a 5 meter Neutron. Once you start to get that rhythm going and you get the board going, it's just super clean. It's just skipping along the water and up and away you go. The foil helps, the wing definitely helped, but the board was just so efficient to get up onto the foil. I'm only 72 kilos. The 95 may as well be a downwind board for me. I'm going to try the 70 litre as well in lighter winds, but before work session, just wanted to get out, wanted it to be easy. In higher winds as well, I took this out with the 830 Nomad, and again, in high winds, it still works for me. So I think it just goes to show there's two sides of the argument. The boards are so efficient and so stable now that you can size down. But then in the same sort of breath, you can say, well, the boards are so light, so responsive, and they've made them so efficient on and off the foil. So you can really see they've really made just a nice aerodynamic shape along the front so it doesn't get affected by wind too badly. Why not size up? Why not have that extra literage? The boards don't change much in the width until you go to the smaller sizes. It's mainly the length by a few inches. So why not have that more volume and just make it easier for yourself? Is that something that I'm quite a strong believer in? I know Mark at the shop as well. He went out on the 95 the other day, loved it. He said he'd probably go 90 if he went for one. But then he also said at the same time, why would he not go to the 95? Because the dimensions are pretty similar. And it gives him a bit extra volume, tiny bit extra length, which is just going to release off the water a bit quicker. So yeah, going to the 70, I use that in 12 knots with a AFS Evo HA 1000, and I was just cruising about, gliding around, getting up onto the foil super easily. Going to the smaller boards, so something more around my weight range to literage sort of comparison, super stable. You can just stand on it pretty much straight away, starts to sink the back end a tiny bit, but as soon as you get any speed, as I said, so efficient, you just start skipping up onto the foil. I think all round they've just made so many improvements to this board. But yeah, I love it. Both styles are brilliant. I think the main thing about the Pro Carbon, it opens up a whole different range of what you can do on the foil. It's brilliant, just in the sense of your foil becomes so responsive and you can feel every little movement, tweak, sort of every little maneuver. You can feel exactly what your foil is doing because you're so connected to it, where the board is so stiff. The standard carbon is still absolutely brilliant, but I think it's more of that what every other board that I've used has sort of given me, where you can feel the foil, it's still responsive, it still feels amazing, but the Pro Carbon, I you have to try it to really understand it. But you could feel every tiny movement that your foil was doing. But yeah, I think that's everything that I sort of wanted to covered. Hopefully, you guys found this tech talk and just then my own little opinion on it pretty useful. Yeah, if you want to hear about any other boards, any other sizes, wings, foils, anything, just let us know, and we'll see you guys in the next one.